You think you got me figured out, reading comments like they count. Drama feeds your empty soul. Truth ain't part of your life goals. All your screenshots and your claims, playing victim in your games. Why you always stirring up the top though? Get it out when people call you bluff, bro. Till I you're making return energy, but nobody's buying what you're selling me. Fake it till you don't. Fake it till you don't. Fake it till you don't. Can't keep up the fraud forever. Fake it till you don't. Posting receipts that don't add up. Manufactured drama cup, overflowing with your lies. Time to cut you down to size. All your stories fall apart when we dig beneath the start. Why you always turning up the bottle? Been mad with it, call your bluff. So I take on me with your energy. Nobody's for you, just telling me. Fake it till you don't. Fake it till you don't. Fake it till you don't. Can't keep up the fraud forever. Fake it till you don't. Take that L and walk away. Nothing left for you to say. We see through a little show. Time for you to let it go. Stirring up the pot though. Getting loud when people call you bluff, bro. Acting like you're main character energy, but nobody's buying what you're selling me.
What's going on? Hey everyone. I know it's late. 10:43 over here Central Time. Yeah, so I wanted to go live today. There's a couple updates that I wanted to cover today. One, the report that I made with my post office. And two, actually three things. The second thing too is the continuing of the weaponization of the legal process within YouTube, and more specifically, the privacy complaints keep rolling in. And the third thing is to kind of just go over a live stream that occurred. I want to say about, gosh, what time did it start? It happened like 5 hours ago, maybe. I could be wrong. So welcome everybody. If you're in the chat, please come and say hi. See, we got 6 people in here. Anyone want to say hi? Or we all hate watching? Hey, Louise. I'm so happy to see you. I really am. All right, so let's start. First things first, okay? I'm gonna share my screen, okay? Because I did a little bit digging. You know, I was thinking, what was going on during the period where letters were sent out? So for those who haven't watched or listened to me in the past, I received 2 letters in the U.S. mail. The first one I received, I had a live stream, opened it up live, had no idea what was in that letter whatsoever. Thought it was going to be a troll farm sticker, actually. But to my surprise, it was a condom and lube. Okay, that's the first one. So that's the first one received. But that wasn't the first letter that was sent. Now, the first letter that was sent was actually supposed to go to Noe Ramos. Okay, so there was a letter that was supposed to go to Noe Ramos, and the recipient on the letter, so you know where you put the return address? Well, actually, it's not really the recipient, the sender. Okay, let me correct here. The sender of the letter where someone would put, their mailing address. So, should the letter be returned or is undeliverable, right? The post office is set up to send the letter to whomever fills out the letter and puts in the upper left-hand corner the address of the sender. Okay, and I say that in quotes, sender, because I did not send this letter. Now, Troll Farm wants to gaslight the hell out of this one, and their explanation was that I sent this letter. No, you're very mistaken, and it's all going to come to light. Okay, so anyway, going back to this letter was postmarked October 1st. Okay, and it was supposed to go to Noe. It was addressed to the Wabash jail with the Wabash address. Okay, so a logical person would think that this letter would be delivered to a valid address. However, the Wabash jail has a separate post office box where inmate letters are supposed to go to. So that is why this letter was marked return to sender. Okay. And guess who gets this letter? That would be Peggy O at my legal address. Again, did not send this letter. I would not send Noe a letter. So who hates Noe? Because I've just really been doing a lot of thinking about this besides the handwriting analysis that I had done. Had somebody look at this, right? Who hates me? Who hates other people that's gotten letters? And who lives in the Indianapolis area? Because both letters went to a processing center in Indianapolis. So, that does help narrow the pool of possibilities of, so now, not only who hates all these people, right? Well, now we have to quantify that a little bit further and say who lives in the Indianapolis area, right? That's logical. I think any reasonable person would, ask those questions, right? Y'all follow me? So anyway, where I'm going with this is, again, I received 2 letters, had them looked at, and, a lot of other people haven't had much luck going to their postmaster. So I said, that kind of discouraged me a little bit. So it took me a while. And I said, fuck it. I'm going to go to my postmaster. Okay. So went to my postmaster, did a short on this. And that was yesterday. And to my surprise, after walking up, I was waiting in line for a little bit. Actually found out that they sell greeting cards at the post office. So I picked up a greeting card because I needed one. But anyway, I was waiting, and I went up to the counter and I said, hey, I have this greeting card to buy, but, I would like to talk to the postmaster. And I showed the person behind the clerk these 2 letters. And I wasn't trying to be very loud because there was like a long ass line behind me. So I said, I'd like to talk to Postmaster. And I was told, okay, go over there, go stand by the P.O. boxes and wait by the counter. So this waited for about 3 minutes. It was a pretty seamless process, actually. Wait about 3 minutes. The door opened. So it's one of those doors that have like, the top can open and then it becomes a counter. And a younger man, I mean, not real young, but was a millennial. It was clearly somebody that was maybe 5, 10 years younger than I am. I'm like, thank you, God. Because if I had to try to explain this to an old man behind the counter and explain that, no, my name is not Peggy O, but this is I do true crime. And this is a username on YouTube. I don't think the older generation would really grasp that. So I was really excited that I got somebody, who can speak the lingo, right? So told the gentleman what was going on. So I started with Noe's letter, and I said, hey, this letter was supposed to go to this guy named Noe Ramos. Show him the letter. Look at it's going to the Wabash jail. I didn't send this letter. It got returned to me. And I pulled out the birthday card and I said, here's my initials, AW on the bottom here. So he goes and he grabs the second letter because they're on the counter at this point. And he's like, oh, is this the same person? I go, yeah, it looks like it's like same handwriting, all that. And, I was trying to explain to him, I do true crime. Still trying to kind of tell him why, what the possibility is that I got this letter to begin with. And anyway, as I'm talking, he's opening, the the envelope, the other envelope, and pulls out a piece of paper. And he goes, is this a condom? I said, yeah, it's a condom. Because he's kind of pulling out of the envelope as we speak. And he's like, and I go, and there's lubricant in there too. And he firmly said, this is harassment. I said, yeah, this is harassment. Yes, absolutely. So anyway, he took it very seriously, took down my phone number, my email, and he said, well, I am going to contact the postal inspector right away. You'll be hearing from me soon. So I felt very relieved. So anyway, that's an update on my complaint with the post office because I got 2 letters. Okay. But anyway, going back to me trying to figure out what was going on during this time frame, right? So again, the letter that I received second was actually mailed out first, came to me because it was undeliverable. That is postmarked October 1st. So I started going through all my screenshots, right? What was going on during October 1st around that time? And I found something very interesting, and I'm going to pull this up right now. And hi, Tilted Kilt. Thanks for coming in. Hi, Mother of Dragons. Let me share my screen real quick. Okay, can y'all see my screen? Oops. So this, I have the timestamp, didn't come through. This was sent to me on September 30th. So, September has 30 days, which would make it the day before the letter that was supposed to go to Noe was postmarked. And it says, tonight, everybody will see what April is doing. And April will be trying to explain again to you guys with clips of nothing. She's now doing true crime, Nah, mate. We're taking you all the way out. That's not a threat either. It's a promise. All right. So if you can see, I'll be frank, reposted my post, right? Follow me? Where since it was October or October was coming up, posted something about the fluorophore. Now, who is involved with the fluorophore? Who would get pissed off that somebody tried to, put some attention to the fluorophore case? Who thinks, who's in the weeds of the fluorophore? Anybody? That's okay. I'll answer it. It's nothing but jinx. Isn't that interesting? The day before a letter goes out, somebody got really pissed off that I posted a picture of, the graves of 4 beautiful children that lost their lives in a fire. And you're an advocate, right? So that's an update. More to come. I am going to keep everyone updated on what's going on with these letters. Because if you are one that sent these letters and you're watching, or spread the word, okay, guess what? The post office, that informed delivery option that people sometimes opt into, it sends you photos of your incoming mail and it takes pictures of mail. And, this letter had to travel around quite some bit, right? So it went from somewhere in the Indiana area to a processing center to Indianapolis. And then it went and tried to go all the way to Wabash, Indiana. And then it went all the way back to Indianapolis, right? Y'all following me? And then from Indianapolis, guess where it went? Came to my address. All right, so keep on making those stupid talking points that I sent these letters and they were supposed to come back to me. And yeah, no, absolutely not. But keep on talking, because you know what? Why are you so concerned that I made a complaint to this? Huh? Who's talking about it? Who's gaslighting? Who really believes that I, right, drove all the way to Indiana to send these letters out and send myself, to give Noe Ramos my address, right? Because the address is the Wabash County Jail. Okay, so the second thing that I wanted to talk about was the privacy strikes. Okay, so, and I want to give, because for some strange reason, the video, I did a live stream, I want to say a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't know. All these days are running together at this point, but I did a live stream to go over a lawsuit that was filed against me, and I shared a public document, right? That anyone can access this public document. And somebody didn't like that very much. So not only is that somebody weaponizing the copyright system to, clearly this person, Bossy, claims that she owns and she's the creator of these videos that I made, which were shorts that I did transform okay, and put my own music on it. One's 15 seconds. I think the other one's like 22 seconds. They were YouTube shorts, and thought, there were Mr. Noe. And she is claiming ownership of these videos, and she is taking me to court. And even within, I went through this whole thing. Sorry if you didn't catch it. It's no longer here because, not only are you weaponizing the copyright strike system to take my channel down, but now you don't want anyone to know about it. You don't want people to know what you're doing. Who does that sound like? Who has tried that in the true crime community? And granted, I get it. I'm not nowhere near as big as this person. But what do people think of when somebody, who is, being attacked and is trying to fight back, and then, copyright strikes and privacy complaints are being filed to silence that person? Who does that sound like to y'all? I think y'all know where I'm going with this. But yeah, so not only am I, having to, and trust me, I got way more than two. Way more than two that, like, I was filing counterclaims like several times a day. I don't know how many were in total. I could add them up if anyone wants to know and get back to you. But I mean, it was substantial amount of time of me trying to. I've never filed a copyright on anyone, and I still haven't, because you know what? I'm not a bitter bitch like you, bossy. Not a bitter bitch like you. Okay? So keep on trying to act like you're this, you got this moral high ground, and you're, namaste, and the circle of life, and where the planets are, and your ancestors are, watching out for you and all that, and you're just so free spirit, but you're a bitter bitch. That's what you are. Bitter bitch. Okay? So anyway, I decided that I was going to take my channel down because you don't have any leverage on me, bitch. And let me tell you, if you're the one along one, because you are in the Indianapolis area, it seems like you have a lot of hate. I mean, I welcome anyone to go visit Bossy's page, because all she does all day long is post, 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 post. Peggy O, Peggy O, Peggy Ho, Petty Ho, bitch, April. I mean, it goes on and on and on. I actually made a video about it if anyone wants to watch it, because these are just constant, bitterness coming from you. Constant. So you're not this, free spirit little chick, are you? You're bitter. You're so bitter because I had Noe Ramos on a live stream in June. This is June, everyone. June. Where I was on this live stream and I got, I mean, I said 100 before. It felt like 100. I mean, I got off the live stream. It was like a 4-hour live stream. And got off, and there was pages and pages of direct messages coming from me. Please don't say you know me. Don't mention my name. On and on and on and on. And it's just like the obsession with Noe is like, you go around and you're, saying that he's harassing you. But now going back through all the Discord messages and trying to put together what people were talking about. There was multiple people in some of these group chats, and it's just like everything is Noe, prof, Noe, prof. And you go and you try to file protective order, and same with you, Jinx. You go to file protective order from somebody that, you're so scared of and afraid of, but all you do is find out where he's at, and like following him around on live streams and calling the ballpark to have him, arrested for probation violations and all this. It's like, who's obsessed with who? Who's stalking who here? I mean, hell, you both could be stalking. Both of these could be true, but you're not any better. You're not. And it's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. The smear campaign, and it's just like, I broke free. I did a couple live streams with I'll Be Frank. He, tweeted my employer, telling them that I'm protecting a child killer because I'm asking questions about, the conditions of where Richard Allen was housed in, how there's a lack of transparency, how I believe his constitutional rights were violated on many, many, many different fronts. And asking questions, what this is what happens. Y'all say, I'm bitter, or I was a rat, or whatever reason. I mean, the storyline always changes. Every time they go out and try to justify their actions, it's a completely different story every time. So I still have no idea why I was attacked, but it doesn't matter. So anyway, I took down my channel. That's why my channel's not around. It's not because they took it down. It was because, you know what? I'm not going to let people continue to try to do this shit to me and try to, say that videos that I made and I edited is suddenly theirs when they're not even the original creator of such video. That's just mind-blowing to think that you own a video that you transformed and just put like your stupid sound effects and adjust the speed a little bit, that it's your video. It's like obsession. Like only Bossy can have anything Noe, right? Like no one else can create a video or anything. It's just all Bossy's. And then this even gets even funnier here, because she says that I filed a copyright strike. In my last live stream I did about this, I said, post receipts that I made a copyright strike on you, because that is absolutely false. Absolutely. So just see, it's like the Starvo shit coming back here, the self-projection, everything that they're doing, they want to go and, blame other people for it. And it's just like, a bunch of chaos. And at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, like, what are you trying to achieve? What is your problem? Are you that bitter? Or is there something else there? Which leads me to the last thing I want to talk about. So Charles, Necessary Evil, had a live stream today, and I'm happy he had such live stream. But in the beginning of the live stream, he accuses me of recording him. So let me ask you, Charles, if you're watching, let me ask you this question. If I recorded you, and knowing the history you and I have had, I want to say, maybe we had a little following out 3 months ago, maybe less, maybe more, some around that time. And I believe that you gave my information over, right? Because kind of admitted it, actually. But anyway, don't you think, right? Would you think I would, if I wanted to release such recording, if such recording exists, that wouldn't I have done that by now? So stop drinking the Kool-Aid, Charles. Okay, there's apparently, an agenda here that, and Charles, another thing I want to say is, like, I'm confused here. Like, I know time has lapsed and maybe you're not as pissed off as you were 8 months ago, maybe, where you were on this rampage of calling out the troll farm. But now, You're cool with the troll farm. I don't know. I'm just like telling you my observations here. You could take it with a grain of salt. I'm not attacking you. I'm giving you my feedback. So I just find that interesting. But this live stream was well overdue. And the reason why I titled my live stream tonight, "The Truth Will Set You Free," is because it was long overdue. And I'm like very happy that excuse me, not Mill. I'm so sorry for for botching your name here, but Moon did a live stream today to talk about her experience with Tony Klein. And I think, and I put some comments in this live stream where I feel like a lot of things that are driving all this attention on different areas of this case is the environment and the lack of transparency in the Delphi case. Lack of transparency in the Delphi case, lack of transparency in the Flora case, lack of transparency in the Kagan Klein case, right? And these locations are all real close to each other. I want to bring this. It's not that far to Peru, Indiana, where the Kleins were. Flora is the next town over of Delphi, right? And if we go back to the depositions, right? There's some depositions that were released. It's very clear that even Jerry Holman believes that Tony Klein or Kagan Klein, the Kleins, have a connection with the Delphi case. I mean, the deposition wasn't that far from trial, right? And he says he couldn't just make the connection. And he also says that Libby and Kagan Klein, or the number, or I don't even know if it was Kagan Klein's phone. I don't know. But it was traced back to one of the Kleins, or whoever had access to that phone, message Libby the day of the abduction and her, hers and Abby's, the tragic event of them being murdered. Okay. So that's interesting alone. But anyway, so Moon did talk about her experiences with her experience with Tony Klein. She was married with that person. I don't know for how long. I believe actually I know that the information's on my case. Anyone can pull it up, and I'm not trying to say by all means no one bother Moon. Please don't. Not advocating for that whatsoever. What I'm trying to get at is she had a story to tell, and this is her story. And her story includes that she was a victim of abuse from Tony Klein. And that's serious shit. And I'm happy she was able to take her power back today and tell her story. I know she didn't get all the way through it, and it might be a process if she wants to talk some more or whatever. I think that's great, because it is kind of part of the healing process. Like that shit like that, being a person abused and being in an abusive relationship, that shit takes time. It really does. And I think my perception is that she was able to tell her, and she wanted to tell her story. And she'd been wanting to tell her story for a while. But, that hasn't happened. And, I've communicated. I was in group chats with Miss Bo and Bossy, and we were friends. I mean, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of messages in this chat, and half of the time I was working, and they were flying in, and I mean, I'm just saying, there was so much communication in this group chat that I don't know if anyone else has been in the group chat here, but if you're way behind, you're like, I got to scroll all the way up and read all of that shit to get caught up. And sometimes you just don't. At least I don't. I'm like, okay, let me just try to figure out what's going on. But I go back to these messages, and now I have a little bit more knowledge than at the time when we first started communicating with different aspects of this case, and I'm able to put things together a little bit more cohesive at the very least. And one thing I did notice is that Moon did want to talk. That's the perception I got from these messages, and was discouraged from talking, or people were out to protect Moon. And when you have a good friend and you have a family member, I get that, right? You don't want your friend or your family member, somebody who you really care about, relive certain emotions, or be open to be attacked or doxxed or any of that. I totally get that. That's a natural reaction. But I think too, at the same time, it's a hard balance, because you have a story to tell, and part of that story people should be aware of, right? I mean, if we believe what she's saying, right? And I'm not saying I don't. I'm just saying, if we take her for her words that were stated today in a live stream that's no longer available, but whatever. We take what she was saying during this live stream. She is afraid, or was afraid, is going through, emotions, and her ex, right, was not a good person, right? And a big revelation of this live stream, just in case no one else has seen it, is that ISP in either 2012 or 2013 reached out and stated, okay, that there was inappropriate communications going on for the Tony Klein's phone, or either Tony or Kagan. I don't know which one, actually. So there was a phone, right, that was registered on the plan that was having inappropriate communications with minors. This is 2012, 2013. Let that shit sit in, everybody. So not only, if this is correct, not only did they not do anything in 2017 when they discovered, the Tony Klein connection and his inappropriate communications with minors in 2017, 2012 and 2013, they were made aware, they had knowledge that Tony Klein, or Kagan Klein, was having inappropriate communications with minors. Isn't that shit crazy? I mean, I was like, holy shit. Seriously. Wow. It's kind of, think like, what was action during that time? Why wasn't it that is correct, and ISP did their due diligence? Why didn't they figure out who and hold him accountable? Whoever's phone. Did they think it was Kagan? Maybe they thought it was Kagan. But I can tell you one thing in Indiana, and I know this for a fact, that it doesn't matter. Like, if two minors are communicating inappropriately, right, and there's any type of CSAM material on either minor's phone, it is treated like it's an adult. It's still against the law, regardless of how, old somebody is. Like, because texting is a problem with children. People watch your children, monitor your children's devices. That shit happens all the time. But it's still against the law. It still needed to be investigated. So even if we take it like this is Kagan's Klein, and he's, communicating inappropriately with minors, it's still against the law. Like, it still needs to be prosecuted. It still needs to be addressed. So what happened? So that was a little bit crazy to hear and concerning. And do we have somebody out there walking around that has an issue? Is the public okay? Allegedly, I'm going based on what I heard today. These are my notes, okay? I'm not saying these are facts because I haven't validated. I'm going based on what I heard today during this live stream and what my feedback is. Okay. Another revelation that or feedback that I took from this is Tony Klein allegedly threatened to blow up people's vehicles. That's pretty crazy. Doesn't that show that's like violent, right? That's disturbing to me. Again, this live stream is gone. I don't know why it was taken down. I'm sure there's some copies floating around and people screen recording it. I did not, for the record. Okay, bossy. Another thing is the mention of turbo. Okay, I don't know. I don't understand really the magnitude where that comes from, but I guess Turbo interviewed Tony Klein's ex. There's, I guess, 50 recordings floating around, something like that. And Moon, unless I heard this incorrectly, but I'm pretty sure Moon said to go ahead and release those interviews. She don't care. I'd be interested to hear, and I'm not wanting to listen to this interview to get any, I understand, this is difficult, I'm sure, for her, but my intent of why I think this interview would be very helpful or interesting when it comes to the Delphi case is because of the connection, with the clients, right? And trying to get to the bottom of what the hell happened in Delphi. Because if you believe the story that the state wants to, give everyone, that, there was one person involved that was a lone wolf, and all that, and dismiss other things like the DNA. Richard Allen's DNA was excluded. Whose DNA? And there was DNA found on multiple locations of the girls. So this is not just the laundry story that we all heard. No, this is more than a, laundry mix up. Okay. So I would be really interested of what Moon's feedback was on Tony Klein and her experience with Kagan. And she seemed to be very symptomatic with what Keegan went through. Because she got to know him. She knew who Keegan was. Right? So just to understand and learn a little bit more of the home dynamic and what kind of person Kagan was and what type of person Tony is. Another thing that I picked up on was that Moon made a comment where she knows Richard Allen's parents. So I thought that was interesting, right? I know, even if you're pro guilter here, is there a nexus here? Is this a nexus? Even if it's a nexus, it doesn't necessarily have to tie it to say Richard Allen is guilty, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. So that was really interesting. Another thing was that was discussed was that Tony Klein was a meth user. That's the first time I ever heard that, those talking points. So Tony Klein was described as having blisters on his lips from using meth. Does that make him a person responsible with the girls? No, it doesn't. But it's very interesting because of the dynamic of drugs in that area of Delphi and Flora and Carroll County and Central Indiana. I mean, it was a what epidemic? I think that's the proper term. I mean, like meth, it was a huge problem. It probably still is. I have no idea. I don't know any meth users or people, like I've never been around people with meth. I don't know if it's still as bad as it used to be. I could probably look that up. But anyway, I mean, I know from the experience living in Central Indiana, but since 2014, it was a huge problem. Huge. Meth labs all over the place. I think it's probably was the whole problem in the entire United States. But so that was interesting to hear. She also, going back to Richard Allen, there was a point that I want to make here. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place, but knowing the Allens, it's my understanding that Moon stated that she didn't think Richard Allen was capable of committing this crime or these crimes. So sorry, I left that out. Had to go circle back there because I took notes. I'm reading my notes right now. Does anyone have any questions? People are quiet. Did I put everyone to sleep? Does anyone want to add to this conversation? I also put in my post today that I was going to go live. So if anyone wants to come up here, you're more than welcome. A lot of truth is coming to light here. I'm happy to see the truth coming out because it just seems like everyone wants to suppress, not everyone, but there's a lot of people that want to suppress the truth. And I want to get to the bottom of the truth. I think a lot of us do. So got 18 people in here and we have 3 known people in the chat. So please say hi. Let me turn my alarm off. 1 second. Silence my notifications. I finally did the iPhone update. I had to clear out my memory, and so I did that the other day, and I was finally able to update my iPhone. I think that update came out like 2-3 months ago. So I'm trying to navigate through this. So what do you want me to talk about, if anyone? Like there's I brought up 3 subjects today. Do you have any questions about any of those 3? With the letters, any questions about the letters? Any questions about what's going on with the copyright strikes or the privacy complaints? Actually, I want to circle back to the privacy complaint. I want to show everyone how crazy this is. So, I posted this earlier today. It's unreal. It's like you can't make this shit up. Seriously. All right. I trust y'all can see my screen here. So I posted a little bit over 11 hours ago. The harder you attempt to silence me, the louder I will become. I'll be going live tonight. Now look at here. So overnight, I got 2 more privacy complaints, right? And here are all the other ones. I mean, that's all. I only put 2 of them up here. Okay. I encourage everyone to go and check out this. It's unlisted. I'm pretty sure it's unlisted. I have posted this video. So this is a crop version of a video that I posted. Okay. Does this, I mean, does this look like somebody's privacy? Like, is this somebody's name? Is this somebody's picture? I mean, it kind of looks similar, to tell you the truth. But like, does this look like somebody that could claim a privacy on this? Okay. So this video is have some screenshots in that video. No one's name is mentioned. Their usernames mentioned and their voice. And where did I get such voice from? Well, this person voluntarily recorded voice memos and sent them to me, but wants to like claim that a law was violated. But anyway, so yeah, this is one of the complaints that I got. They don't want this video to still be in circulation. So anything that makes them look bad, oops, they want nothing to do with. Sorry about that. And then, another thing, it's like the talking point, and this is kind of a little bit funny, actually, is how they want to continue to, they got a beef with me, but they want to pull in Mark's name in there. It's like, oh my gosh, like that's just getting old. People, like, I'm my own person, but if you want to bring Mark in, like, what? Because you're trying to, score some points with the troll farm. What? Are you rejected? Did they say, you know what, we're tired of your shit? And now you're trying to get back with them and trying to, score some points. Let's go after Mark. I don't know. Is he in this chat? Mark, you in here? I'll be right back. Just 1 second, okay? I think my dog's scratching at the door. Sorry about that. No dog. I'm hearing things. I think he was scratching at my son's door. Okay, so we have a question from Tilted, or I have a question from Tilted Kilt. Why does Bossy have Cohen in her sights? Did he stop paying her bills or what? I don't know. Like, a lot of people have paid her bills, which is kind of funny. I helped her out. Ruckus has helped her out, giving her money for her Crib ZZ channel. I don't know what's going on, why she's throwing Turbo under the bus today. So that was interesting to see. But no, I don't know what, like, it's just, Tilted Kilt, it's just a talking point. Let me get, because people don't like Mark, that, oh, let me get others to go and attack. I mean, that's my perspective on all of this. So, hope I answered your question. What else? What else can I talk about today? I mean, I'm okay with ending the live here unless anyone wants to come up. You have any questions? I'll answer questions. Just let me know if you want a link. Come on, Bossy, come on up here. Because you and I can pull up the Discord and we can go through all these messages together. How about that? You want to keep on threatening me with messages? Well, we'll go through all of it and we'll provide context, and you can explain your actions. How about that? How about you be responsible for your actions for once? I think that's a great idea. Because it's always somebody else's fault. It's Snowy, stalking her. Oh, don't even get me started about the whole alleged doxing. First it was Sleuth Intuition who doxed her, then it was Jinx who doxed her, Prof doxed her. Like, which one? Because like when you're doxed, the first person that doxed you is the one responsible for any further doxing, technically speaking. At least it is in Illinois. So that is our law. So who doxed you? I would like to understand, like, because the story is always evolving here. And why don't we talk about you working with Richard Allen? Do you want to talk about that? I think that would be a great conversation. I really want to hear a little bit more about this working with Richard Allen at Walmart. Were you the person that Turbo interviewed and did a whole video on working with Richard Allen at Walmart? Feel free. You're not blocked. You can come up here or you can, explain yourself, talk for yourself. You're all big and bad, posting and being a keyboard warrior. Here's your chance. Come on up. And we can both go over the Discord messages. Since you want to, think you can intimidate me, which I think I already proved. I recorded your and I's personal conversation and released it to everyone. You don't threaten me. You don't intimidate me. You can try to keep on filing lawsuits and all that. And you know what? You are knee deep in here, with your various messages that you have, or not messages, but, comments or posts that you made on your screen or on your YouTube. Oh no, how about Bo, would you like to come up here? We can talk too. Maybe you can give a little bit more context to what happened on the live stream today. And I'd be interested to know why that live stream has been pulled. As quick as it went up, just as quick it went down. I believe I asked a question like 10 times that wasn't answered directly or asked. The bossy goes up, I'm going to screen record it and make 1 billion short. Awesome. Anyone else? Let's see if Mark wants to come up. Because, his name's been mentioned many times lately. I'm messaging him now. What else? I'm going to try to look at my notes while I wait for him to respond. Just like the perception that I got, I don't know if I covered this already, is like that people, if we look back, like at, the troll farm and people surrounded her. And I felt like that kind of kept her story silent, like to silence her. But at the same time, she might not have been ready to talk. Like today might have been her first time she wanted to talk about this. But like she did give her story to Turbo. And it's like, okay, did Turbo know all of this? Did Turbo know that, ISP in 2020, 2012 or 2013 was on an account that's tied to one of the clients with inappropriate messaging with minors and did not cover that? I'm really into like this is like okay. So like the way that if this is true, okay, let's take this. If this is correct and this was all sold to Turbo, right? Why did you drop the whole Klein angle and went right to Richard Allen? Why don't you cover the story completely? I mean, you have permission now to cover it. I mean, at least that's what she said on the live stream. So let's stop the bullshit, everyone. Let's get everything out. Let the truth be known. And we need transparency here because it just seems like everyone wants to hide shit in this case. Like hide it. And you got like these idiots going out there and causing all this ruckus, no pun intended actually. But but then wants to keep everything silent. It's like, that saying where there's smoke, there's fire. Is that what we got here? I don't know. So yeah, again, there was some meth involvement here. It's like it was like reverse engineered in a way. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. Any questions? Don't be scared. Let's talk. But I do want to end this live stream before 12 because that's when Al the Prowl goes on. So anyone has anything to say or anyone wants to, provide additional information or, if you have any questions for me, I'll take them. I'll own up to my bullshit. I'm not here to hide shit. I just want to get to the bottom of the truth. Because this is the craziest case I've ever seen. And it just seems like the investigation was shitty. There is an angle here, the third part, as far as third parties go. I mean, how much more do you get to having like somebody communicating with Liberty German the day of the homicides? Okay, so you got that. We want to look at the Ron Logan angle. I mean, the bodies were discovered on his property. Usually that's like number one suspect. His phone's pinging by the bridge. Like, what the fuck is going on here? It's crazy. And you got all these people, again, causing all this chaos. It's like they want to hide the truth. It's like, and these people, most of them are local to the area. So it's like, okay, are you inserting yourself into this case? Are you trying to disrupt the transparency here? Because that's what it seems like it is. But sorry, Tilted Kill, it doesn't seem like you're gonna get any screen recordings today. I'll sit and give it a couple more minutes. Let's see if Keyboard Warrior wants to come up here. Give it one more minute. Luis, do you think your Dallas is gonna win tomorrow? If they play tomorrow? Question. Why did Moon tell Snay to F off? He wasn't being around for a long time, and now she wants to tell him off. I don't get that. I don't know the answer to that either. I could tell you what her talking points were. So what, and I don't know exact words. So if I get this wrong, and anyone that heard this live stream, please correct me. But I believe she was upset that he was friends with Tony Klein. I think that's what I took away from it. I mean, it's probably more complex than that. I don't know, but like that's kind of what I took from that. So I don't know. If she's in here, she wants to come up and further elaborate or put any comments. Feel free to. Or if Bo's in here, maybe she could provide additional insight. I mean, I know there's like one of me up here and there's one person currently talking. So there's like 16 other people watching. And the chances are that is one of them is probably pretty good. Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm going to end for tonight. I think I said, I did say exactly what I wanted to. So if anyone didn't watch this live stream, I think I did a good job of summarizing some of the main takeaways that I had from it. And I'm glad to give everyone an update on the letters and just show you some more of the childish games that are being played with, weaponizing copyright strikes and privacy claims. So that's all I have for tonight. So thanks for tuning in. Bye, haters.
The skills are rusted, they tip and they sway. The sword's been dulled, it's been locked away. The blindfold slips, revealing the game. Lady Justice, tell me, who do we blame? This isn't balanced, this isn't right. Who stole the stars from the flag tonight? Lady Justice, where are you now? We're screaming loud, but you don't hear a sound. This isn't the America I knew. Lady Justice, where are you? The gavel falls, but it don't make a dent. The halls of power feel broken and bent. Promises whispered and swept with the breeze. Truth gets tangled in the webs of greed. Blindfold torn and the swords in the dirt. The scales can't hold the weight of the herd. Oh, tell me, where did you go, Lady Justice? We need you so. Lady Justice, where are you now? We're screaming loud, but you don't hear a sound. This isn't the America I knew. Lady Justice, where are you? Where are you now? We're screaming loud, but you don't hear a sound. This isn't the America I knew. Lady Justice, where are you?